Hello there, and welcome to another Facebook Live. And this evening, I want to just talk briefly about life being a struggle. It's interesting. This is something that came up in my own coaching. I had a coaching call today with one of my mentors, and this came up how to sometimes life feels like a struggle. And it also came up with a client today as well. They shared the same thing, how life for them constantly feels like a struggle. Everything becomes an issue. Everything is an issue. And she feels like she's constantly having to work hard to try and be okay and to resolve situations. And it's similar how these two, from my own conversation with my own kind of coach and with a client, there was a big similarity. It helped me reflect on these things. And for me, I realised life becomes a struggle. Life feels a struggle when we try to control things, when we think we need things to be a certain way to be okay. Life feels a struggle where we're kind of micromanaging situations. And we get into micromanaging situations because we think we need a certain outcome. We think we're not going to be okay unless something happens. So for me, one of the things is about, I fall into the trap of thinking people won't like me unless I do something to really serve them really powerfully or please them in some way. So part of me is kind of micromanaging what people will think. When I fall into that trap, back of my mind is kind of micromanaging, and I'm struggling because you can't control all those things. So life just generally feels like a struggle. So if you're honest, people kind of just trying to micromanage life, or life just feels a struggle. It's a reflection of in that moment, in those times, you're living kind of outside in. You're living subconsciously, you're living as if these things on the outside make us feel something on the inside. And I had this real sense of relief this morning when I just revisited that and realised, you know what, it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't work that way. The stuff on the outside doesn't make us feel anything on the inside. And everything we're trying to seek in that micromanaging, to feel okay, to make sure we're going to be okay, to feel safe, secure, happy, comes from within us. It's within us all the time. And it's those times we forget and we flip outside in instead of living inside out. We realise actually it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Because that sense of well-being, we're born with it. It's within us. And the more we kind of recognise that, and it's not about never struggling. It's about recognising when we do feel the struggle, we do slip into that outside in. It's just recognising where that feeling's come from. It's not come from the situation we're trying to control. It's come from our thinking about that situation, that moment. We have this habit. You have a habit. Oh, sorry, a call came in. I had to get rid of that call. So it's a habit of slipping into that thinking we need to control things. And so lens we look at life through, a filter we look at life through. It's just a habit of seeing life through that lens. And it's not life itself. And it can be really freeing to recognise actually we're not feeling life. The struggle is not life. The struggle is the filter we look at life through. The filter of life is a struggle. You know, I learned that from a very young age. But I thought life was a struggle. Life has to be hard work. And it's really freeing to recognise it's not true. It's really releasing to know that actually we are okay. That whatever our circumstances, we're okay, and we can't control circumstances. We don't need to control circumstances. We can't control our circumstances, but it's our mindset, it's our thinking in those circumstances creates our experience, not the circumstance itself. So the micromanaging is constantly our thinking telling us we need certain outcomes in certain situations for us to be okay, whether it's what people think of us or whether a certain situation is going to go in a certain way. So if you feel, at times you feel life is a struggle, just remember our feelings know nothing about our circumstances. Our feelings are just like a speedometer of a car. A speedometer on a car knows one thing. It knows how fast the car is going. It doesn't know how hard the car is working, or the engine's working, doesn't know how much fuel's in the tank. The speedometer does one thing, it registers the speed. Our feelings do one thing. They tell us we've got some thinking in this moment. It's all it knows. It's got some thinking in this moment. It doesn't know anything about our circumstances, doesn't know anything about what people think of us. It's just recognizing that actually the role of a feeling. Feeling is there to say, I've got some thinking right now. Your feelings know nothing about your circumstances. Your feelings know nothing what people think about you. Your feelings know nothing about the future, because the future doesn't exist. That's sometimes a trap I fall into. I forget that. And we have this niggling thought or feeling in the back of our mind, and it really feels like if we follow it, life's going to be okay. If we resolve that situation, I'm going to be okay. It's like spinning all these plates, and we're scared of a plate falling or crashing. And we keep all these plates spinning. We think, I'm okay, as long as they're all stable. Everything's okay in my environment, then I'll be okay. It takes a lot of mental energy to keep all those plates spinning. And it's helpful to realize, actually, it's just our thinking. It's our thinking telling us what's going to happen if that plate falls. Nothing can predict the future. In fact, those plates are just our thoughts. The plates are just our thoughts. We came into the world as little children with innate well-being. They know they're okay. Little children don't spin all these plates. They don't try to micromanage their life. They just be in it. They're comfortable with the unknownness of life, the unknownness of the future. And they're comfortable knowing they're okay. They don't care what people think about them. They just know they're okay. They're being. And we're the same. We're human beings. That same sense of okayness we're born with, it's within us all the time. It's just our thinking that clouds it, that shrouds it, that hides it, that points in the wrong direction. So your feelings do one thing. They just tell you got some thinking in this moment, nothing else. Feelings are neither right, wrong, good or bad. It's an indication system. It's not about never feeling feelings. It's not about never feeling struggle. It's just being aware where that feelings come from. Some thinking in that moment. Habit of thought in that moment. So I just want to share that's what was the theme of today, really, about myself and other people falling into that habit of life being a struggle. And it's that background thinking, micromanaging. It's exhausting. It really is exhausting. And it's not serving you. It's not actually getting anywhere. You're okay in this moment. Life is a series of moments. You're okay in this moment. So just don't go beyond noticing you have that thought or that feeling. Don't beat yourself up about it. The client today was really aware that she gets hard on herself when she finds life is struggling. She thinks she's not working hard enough, or she must work harder, and she gets hard on herself that she's caught into this trap and can't get out of it, and she starts beating herself up. Actually, as we explored it together, it was a 9-year-old her. She learned this as a 9-year-old. When I asked her how she would respond to that 9-year-old, I wanted to connect with that 9-year-old. She wanted to give it a huge hug. She wanted to reassure that 9-year-old she was okay. Everything's going to be okay. She's okay. She's loved. She's okay. Which is interesting. So when she gets into that struggling mindset as an adult, she beats herself up. It's the worst thing. It's just adding more judgment onto thoughts. More thought onto thought. More judgment, I'm not okay, and judging, I should be okay, and it's just layering it on. I don't give tools and techniques really. The way I work is about an understanding. It's a change of heart that frees us. If you wanted one thing to do, self-compassion. Self-compassion, because all these experiences you have, whether it's struggling, whether it's fear, whether it's sadness, it's not our fault. They're habitual thoughts from the past we're looking at life through, and it's so subtle we don't realise we're doing it. We think we're feeling life. So when you notice you're in these places, self-compassion. Self-compassion is a form of acceptance, accepting that you know you're okay in this moment. It's a double defaulting of change. So I encourage you to explore self-compassion. What would it take to give yourself some self-compassion even this evening? Whenever you're watching this, you're watching the replay. What does self-compassion look like for you? How did it mean to give yourself some more self-compassion? got any questions on this, or if it's prompted anything, pop your questions or comments or anything in the comments below, and we can continue the conversation. I look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care.